Hello YouTube, Jeff Steele here with SteelNavigator. Today's topic is minimalism for beginners. I personally have been practicing a level of minimalism since I was about 18, whereby I just realized I had too much stuff and I just wanted to start getting rid of it. I have been getting rid of stuff ever since. I'm now 32 years old. So I've been practicing it for some time, and it seems to be a progressive way of life. Now, minimalism is a subjective term. It's different to every person. However, I believe there are a few guidelines most people can agree on. Now, most people seem to agree that if you have not used it within 1 to 2 years, more than likely you're not going to use it again. We must remember that we don't own stuff, stuff owns us. Look at Warren Buffett, for example, one of the richest men in the world. He could have 100, 200, 300 homes around the world, as much as he wanted. However, he still lives a simple lifestyle in a simple home, drives a simple vehicle every day. He doesn't have 30 exotic sports cars, although he could. Now let's think about that. For example, if he had 30 exotic sports cars, he would have to have a couple of managers who maintain those vehicles on a regular basis. He'd have to have a garage that house those vehicles on the regular. He would have to plan to have those vehicles operated on a regular schedule. The more things we own, the more energy, mental energies, physical energies it takes, the more time, number one, the more time it takes from us. So therefore, the person that is able to get through life with the least amount of stuff, the more free that person is. Now, we all want to live a certain level of lifestyle. We want to keep a certain level of material items. So you just need to find out what works best for you. Now, there is a huge business known as the storage business, whereby people store boats. They have numerous mini storage sites where you can rent or lease different size garages. Some are climate controlled, some are not. For example, my mother has been renting probably a 15 cubed mini storage unit for about the past 10 years on things that she has not pulled out of that storage unit over the entire 10 years. What is the likelihood of her using any of those things at all moving forward? Extremely slim. But she has some type of attachment to these things in this storage unit, so she is still willing to pay $200 to $400 per month simply to store this stuff that she's probably never going to use again. Now, what tends to happen is people just accumulate and accumulate throughout their life, and they end up with tremendous amounts of stuff, especially in the westernized world. And when they pass on, their children or their beneficiaries are then burdened with having to manage and get rid of the stuff. So they're only hurting the people, their beneficiaries. And I see it as a very wasteful way of life when people hoard and store stuff that they're just simply not going to use, not using. They might just be comforted by the fact that they have the access to those things. Where, for example, somebody just could use that item. For example, my uncle has a large steel building that he has multiple tools and implements from his industrial maintenance and construction business that he worked prior to his retirement. This building is probably 20 feet cubed in size. He has so much stuff in it, he can't even put a foot in, can't even fit a push mower in it to get to anything. Even if he wanted to access the things in the building, there's so much stuff that he has no ability, and is at the age where he is not physically able to clean out and organize the building. So not only does it create obstacles for your day-to-day operations, but you're holding on to items that somebody else could utilize. It's extremely wasteful. So for example, say he has a very nice tabletop saw that maybe he paid $500 for, but he thinks in his mind, well, I could use that one day, maybe, which is probably not ever going to happen. But he could sell that for, say, $200, $250 to Joe Smith down the street, who might be building a new porch because his porch is rotted away and he needs one at a good price. He might be able to buy this saw, but because this person is a hoarder, which is the opposite of a minimalist, he misses out on that opportunity at something at a great price that's currently being wasted. It could be put to good use. So minimalism is about eliminating waste, living your life as effectively and efficiently as you can for your own lifestyle. Going back to the general rule, it's best if you have not used something within 1 to 2 years to, number one, try to sell it at the best price as you can. If you're unable to sell it, even with price adjustments, you can then donate it, where you can get a possible tax write-off for the donation. Give it away to friends who would very much appreciate it, or neighbors. You could look to bartering for something that you might need currently. You might need an electronic drill, and you might have an electronic saw. Well, maybe somebody needs an electronic saw, you can just trade them for it. And after the donation, say something's just might need to be repaired, you don't want to repair it, and you don't want to donate something that's not broken. In that situation, you would just throw it away. Also, people talk about, well, what about things that have been passed down from generation to generation? Well, that was my mother's favorite tea set, or that was my mother's favorite t-shirt. Well, you might not want it to just keep up an area in a cabinet somewhere. What you can do is you can take a very nice picture of it. You can have that picture framed if it's very important to you. Or you can just throw it away altogether. You still have the picture and the memory of that item. You can put it in a nice photo album, frame it, put it on the wall if it's that important to you, and it doesn't occupy the space. Looking at one of my grandmothers, before she had to go to assisted living, she had 2 full bedrooms stocked from the floor to the ceiling of simply stuff. Nothing useful at all, just stuff. Old clothes, old shoes, old sewing and threading equipment that she hadn't used in 20 to 30 years. Majority of populations today don't have such hobbies, and so those are just a couple of examples. Now, we all need to keep a little bit of an inventory of some things, and we keep things that we like, but you just need to challenge yourself to evaluate your given situation and know that minimalism is a way of life. It's a progression. It's about keeping the things that you genuinely use and value every day, and eliminating waste from your life, the things that you are not using that somebody else might be able to get value from currently. So I challenge you to take up the journey of minimalism, and remember that you don't own stuff. Stuff owns you, and what you do keep, you're just a steward of that item that will eventually pass on to your beneficiaries. So know that if you're not willing to deal with your stuff, your beneficiaries, the people that come behind you, will have to deal with that stuff. So it's also about not being selfish. Comment down below what tips or tricks, what is your journey like with minimalism? Would like to know what things of note have you noticed in your journey. Tap the subscribe button, the thumbs up icon. Share this video if you would. Other means of support, you can Cash App or PayPal. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.